Hey, it's Jen from Gold Nutrition. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen. I'm a registered dietitian, the founder of Gold Nutrition, and a planning enthusiast. And today is the third installment in my goal setting series, how to set weekly wellness goals in your planner. So if that sounds good to you, then just keep watching. Let's talk goal setting, specifically weekly goal setting. Now, if you are new to my channel, I have already filmed 2 videos, one on how to set quarterly goals and one on how to set monthly goals. And I will link that playlist for you up above and down below. Go ahead and check those out at your convenience if you have been watching. This spread I made in my video last week, and I just did a wellness plan with me, and this was my first time decorating or using at all a teacher layout, and specifically a teacher layout for wellness. So I am actually filming this on Monday the 9th, so I can't give you a full report yet on how I feel about using this particular layout, but as I promised, we are going to talk about setting goals in this layout and some other layouts. So I am a registered dietitian, as I mentioned. I am a dietitian coach. In my business, Gold Nutrition, I work with people one-on-one and coach them in setting goals that surround nutrition and physical activity and really all aspects of wellness. So I've had a bit of experience now with setting my own goals, but also in observing other people and helping other people set their goals. I am a big proponent of SMART goals, and I do have a video all about how to set SMART goals. I will link that for you in the cards and down below. But I will also review for you right now what SMART goals are. So the acronym SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, but I also like to say actionable, relevant, and time-based. So the idea of SMART goals is that we are making a very clear goal. It is basically a mini map to how you are going to set and achieve this goal. It needs to be specific so that you know exactly what you're doing. It needs to be measurable because measuring your goal creates what we call self-efficacy. It's a term that basically describes a feeling that you have about yourself, about your ability to achieve a particular task. It's something like self-confidence, but it's more task specific. Your goal needs to be achievable, but it also needs to challenge you just enough. It needs to challenge you enough to make you feel like you've accomplished something, but it can't be so hard that you can't accomplish it and then you feel, defeated. It needs to be relevant, meaning it needs to be important to you. It needs to matter to the big picture. When I set goals with my clients, we always start with a wellness vision. And I have a video on this channel about how to make a wellness vision board. I'll link that for you. And really, that vision, that is the why behind all the goals that we set. And so we want our goals to be relevant because the science shows us that the more important, the more deeply connected we feel to our goal, the more likely we are to achieve it. And then you want your goal to be time-based, meaning you want there to be some sort of end point to your particular goal so that you know when to get it done. Now, I will talk more in this video about using goal setting to create habits. And so some of these kinds of goals may eventually be set in a way that they don't have a particular endpoint, but you may describe a certain time parameter like doing it daily, for instance. Here we have my wellness spread for this week. If you saw the quarterly and monthly goal videos, you know that I set out at the beginning of this quarter with the idea of training for a 5K. To give you a little background, I love to run. I used to run all the time before I had my kids, and even after I had my kids. When my daughter was a baby, when she was, I believe, around 1 year old, I trained for 10K. That was an awesome experience. I loved it. But as time has gone by, I have now my son who is 3, he's almost 4. The schedule has just gotten, more and more filled. If you're a parent, then I'm sure you can relate to this. And especially with starting a new business, I've had less and less time for running. So I wanted to get back into it, and I still want to get back into it. In those previous videos, I also talked a bit about avoiding goal overwhelm, and I talked about not setting too many goals. And I've had the one very big goal in my life of creating my new group coaching program, the Well Planned Goals group coaching program, which, if you're wondering, if you saw the last video, the application is now open. I will link it in the description box below. It is also linked in my bio on both of my Instagram accounts, which you can check those out over at Gold Nutrition. That's my account where I share stuff about nutrition, goal setting, mindset, all that kind of stuff. Or you can check it out at Planning Gold. That's my planner account where you'll see things like my decorative spreads. So it's a 6-week group coaching program for planners. You'll learn all the ins and outs of goal setting, turning your planner into your accountability partner. And I'm offering 6 spots with the costs covered. I'm so excited that I'm able to do that in this inaugural run of the program. All of that to say, this has been quite a large undertaking developing this program. It's been an awesome undertaking, but it's been a lot of work. So in the end, I realized that training for a 5K, it just wasn't in the cards right now. It just wasn't actually a realistic goal. And that's a really important part of goal setting too, is consistently coming back at the end of the week when you're checking into your planner and you're about to set the goals for the following week. You want to be asking yourself, how did it go? What barriers came up? How can things go better the next time around? So after a little bit of training for a week and then it just fell off, I realized this wasn't realistic for me at this time. And so I'm going to try something a little different now this week. Another thing that I encounter when I'm helping people with goal setting is that some people find it far too overwhelming to have this big overarching goal and then creating smaller goals underneath. That can be a great technique. It's the sort of technique I've employed with, setting goals for my program. But sometimes, especially when we're tackling new wellness goals, for some people, that just feels like too much. And then I like to flip it around and say, well, what can I do right now? What baby step can I take today to get me to that wellness vision, to that person that I imagine myself to be when I am my most well self? And I came up with the idea of a little challenge, and I would like to invite you to join me in this challenge. I'm calling it the 5x5 challenge. And what I'm challenging myself to is 5 minutes dedicated to any of these categories that I'm tracking here. 5 minutes, 5 days a week. And I'm not saying 5 minutes in every category. I'm saying 5 minutes in one category. And I know that might not seem like very much, but it is what is realistic for me right now. And I also know that sometimes if we just give ourselves a little nudge, we'll realize we can do much more than what we set out. I'm going to dedicate 5 minutes, 5 times a week to one of these categories. And I will be sharing the journey over on those Instagram accounts. And so I invite you to join me in this, especially if you've been feeling stuck and you're making all these beautiful wellness spreads and you're just not doing any of it, or you're doing a little of it and you're feeling frustrated. this might be the way. And I'll share with you the categories that I'm tracking. Now, water is, I'm not counting. Water is a SMART goal that I'm going to set, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in just a moment. But I'm tracking how much water I'm drinking in each day. I'm tracking how much water I drink as I go on my phone, because even though I carry my planner with me to work, I work in a hospital on the days that I work as an employee, and it's not practical for me to have my planner out next to me. So it's just much easier for me to track the water that I'm drinking as I drink it on my phone. It's not necessarily necessary to track how much water you're drinking. I'm not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. If you're well tuned into yourself, then you might not need to track how much water you're drinking. But for myself, I've just struggled to drink enough water, and tracking my water has helped motivate me or remind me, you know, it's really an act of mindfulness to make sure that I'm drinking enough water. That's what I'm doing here, not counting it in the 5x5 challenge, but going to keep tracking that. But for the categories that I am going to count, we've got strength, so either some kind of core work, resistance, weights, anything like that, I'm going to think of as some kind of strength training. Cardio, which for the most part will be walking or running for me, but sometimes me and the kids like to have a little dance party or something like that. That would count too. Stretching, that's really important to me. My back gets very, very tight, my back and neck. So that's something that I need to be more mindful of. And then reading. I know these are more fitness related, but this really is an overall wellness spread, and reading is something that I keep trying to fit in and I have not been fitting it in. So that's going into my 5x5 challenge. 5 minutes per day, 5 times a week. I'm going to hit up one of these categories and I'm going to record it here. In terms of tracking SMART goals, I am going to set 2 SMART goals this week. Now, when I use a regular fitness spread, I would do this in the sidebar. So let me just show you that. So here is a Happy Planner fitness layout. This is from the Strength is Beauty extension pack, I believe. I will link it down below. Just so you know, I am a Happy Planner affiliate. I will link any of the Happy Planner products that we talk about in this video down in the description box below. If you click on one of those links and make a purchase, I do make a small commission at no extra cost to you. If you choose to do that, thank you for supporting my business. It means a lot to me. In this layout, you have a sidebar. So oftentimes I would write the SMART goals or the goals for the week in the sidebar. I do recommend writing your goal out and writing it somewhere where you're going to look at it frequently, because that is going to bring your goal to top of mind and give you a higher chance that you're going to be able to set that goal or achieve that goal. In the teacher layout, we don't have a sidebar, so I'm going to show you what I came up with instead. I made this little half sheet, which actually I need to do more on it, and I think I'll move this planner out of the way so that we can do that. I made this little half sheet that I will stick onto the discs over the weekly layout, and I think that will work out fine. That way every time that I go into the spread, I will be looking at these little goals. So the SMART goals that I'm going to set are, number 1, my goal for my water intake, which is that I would like to drink 72 ounces of water daily. That number is not at all a recommendation. For me, I kind of did a little experimentation. I was drinking a little less than that as my original goal, and I was still not feeling adequately hydrated. So I upped the goal to 72 ounces, and I feel that probably realistically, I may need to up it even more, but for now, I have been able to hit that goal, and it's felt good to be able to hit that goal. And again, that's how we build this feeling of self-efficacy, this confidence that we can do it. So I'm going to write my goal. As I've told you guys before, my handwriting is not the greatest, but that's what we're doing, right? We're writing in our planner. So my SMART goal number 1. So our goal is specific. We're talking about water, specifically about drinking water. We're talking about a specific amount of water that we're going to drink. And so it's measurable because we can measure the 72 ounces. Our goal is achievable. I know from past experience that I can achieve this. And also, I always say that I like the A in a SMART goal to stand for actionable, because we need our goal to be an action that we can control, an action that we can carry out, not necessarily an outcome. What I mean by that is, for instance, if I made my goal to be hydrated, that's the outcome that I'm hoping to achieve. And I want that to happen. I want to be well hydrated. However, let's say it's a particularly hot day and I drank my 72 ounces of water, but I'm still not adequately hydrated. Well, I did my goal. I achieved my goal. So I can still feel proud that I achieved my goal, even if I didn't get that desired outcome. And now I have this data to collect to understand how I can better get to my outcome. It all circles back to this idea that if our goal is something we can control, then we can continue to build the momentum. But if our goal is something that's not fully in our control, then we might just be compounding a sense of despair or failure or just frustration, nothing that's really going to be helpful. So my goal is relevant because it does come back to my wellness vision, which I didn't get much into my wellness vision here in this video. Let's just say at the core of it that I desire to be an active person again. I want that to be a part of my lifestyle. Being well hydrated, well nourished, all those things support being that kind of a person, somebody who's active on a regular basis. This sticker is not sticking and it's driving me crazy. I'm gonna have to pull out my Tombow and see if I can get it to stick down. And then our goal is time-based. We're saying we're going to do it daily, or I'm going to do it daily. And so there we have it. It is a SMART goal. So now my second SMART goal, which I'm going to set for this particular week because I am feeling confident that it is achievable, is that I am going to go for a walk run, meaning alternating walking and running with my kids at our high school track. I know this is doable because I checked in with my calendar and it fits into the schedule and it's something we enjoy doing as a family. How I would phrase this goal is that I will go for, I call it a walk run, for 20 minutes on Tuesday. I could be even more specific by saying what time on Tuesday. I think I'll say on Tuesday in the morning. These are my two SMART goals. Now, there really is more to the goal setting process than just writing the SMART goal. Something that I frequently do with my clients is we'll talk through any of the barriers that could get in the way, and then you want to come up with a contingency plan. Let's talk about my walk run goal. Some barriers that come to mind: the weather. Maybe the weather is going to be too hot or it's going to be rainy. Maybe the kids don't cooperate and we don't get out of the house in the morning. Maybe something comes up at the last minute. So you think about things like this and then you come up with an if-then plan. If this happens, then this is what I'll do. For instance, one way that I could deal with any of those things is to say that if a barrier arises on Tuesday, I'm going to reschedule it to Thursday because I know that Thursday morning may also be a possibility. I don't particularly, for myself, like that strategy because something might come up on Thursday. Or for instance, if the weather is not cooperating, then I might say, instead of going for a walk run at the track, we're going to instead do some kind of exercise video off of YouTube, maybe one for kids, and we'll do that in the house. So that's the kind of thought process that you want to have to make sure that you're still able to implement your goals. If you would like me to do a more in-depth video on some of these other aspects surrounding goal setting, then please comment below, and perhaps that could be the next installment in the goal setting series. I do want to add to my little sheet a habit tracker. Now, if you're somewhat new to planning or you've never heard of a habit tracker, it simply just is a way to track a habit. That's what we want here. We want to build nice, healthy habits. Long-term behaviors result in long-term successes, whereas short-term behaviors give you short-term results. Before I add my habit tracker, I did want to put a little 5x5 on here. So I do have these letters. I think I'll do that off camera for the sake of time, and I will be right back. I put in my little 5x5 challenge to remind me, and I put on my habit tracker. I put one there for my water intake. So now I can stick this into my planner, and this is my transformer planner. If you didn't catch that video, I'll link that for you. That was a fun one where I made my first transformer planner, and this is the wellness section of my transformer planner. If you saw that video, you know I set it up with the traditional wellness layout, but then I had this idea to try this. And I'm glad I did, because it kind of inspired this little challenge. So as I said, I invite you to join me in this challenge. So if you'd like to join me in this challenge, we'll use hashtag GN5x5 challenge, or 5x5 challenge. I think that would be fun. I would love it if you would join me. I'd love to hear how it works out for you guys. Comment below if you think you're gonna join me. We'll be doing that hashtag on Instagram. I should have said that. I will be posting in my stories. I'll post in my stories both on Gold Nutrition and Planning Gold some updates on how it goes. I'm gonna try this challenge out for the rest of August. So join me at any time. I would love that. Now, what if you don't use a wellness planner? That is fine. I could understand how it could get overwhelming for some people to have more than one planner. So I'm going to move this planner out of the way. I'm going to take out my mini happy planner that I take on the go with me, and we'll talk a little bit about how we could incorporate our wellness SMART goals into your regular planner. Here's my mini. I've brought you down and close to my mini. I had so much fun setting up this little guy, and if you didn't catch that video, I will link it for you. In that video, I made this dashboard out of the packaging from my mini happy planner, but I'll move that out of the way for now. This is the dashboard layout. Even if you used the horizontal or the vertical layout, they both have areas where you could certainly write out your SMART goals if you want to. I tend personally not to write my SMART goals in this planner, in this layout, not the way I did in that last planner, but I write on that day the thing that I want to accomplish. So I schedule it in. I kind of approach my wellness planner as a way of tracking, and I approach my catch-all planner as a way of planning. One thing I would like to do is put the habit tracker for my water intake into this spread, because I think that could be cool. And I thought I would do that with the same habit tracker sticker that I used in the other spread. It's from this Neutral Florals by Kelva Plan. And then I had a cute little water cup, or that's what I'm going to use it as, from the colorful Leopard. So let me pull those out of these books and I will be right back. I put my little habit tracker right there, which I love it. It's so cute. Now, in terms of my SMART goals, well, that was one of them. But the other one that I want to go for the walk with my kids, well, I'm going to mark that in to my calendar. And this is a way of measuring or making sure that you get your goal done. It's an act of committing to that action. And so I'm going to write it in here. I'm not going to commit to a particular time, and this way it's not overly stressing me out, and actually it's something I'm looking forward to doing, as it should be. That's another thing about wellness goals. Certainly there's going to be things that we're going to have to do sometimes that maybe we really need to do them for the sake of our health and we don't love them, but most of the time there should be joy involved. You'll be much more successful. This is where I'm going to leave it with this video. So let me know in the comments below, what other questions do you have? What would you like me to cover in future videos? I want to hear from you. Please know I answer all the comments. I want to have a conversation with you. I'm so grateful you're here. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more content on nutrition, goal setting, and planning, then hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you never miss a thing. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.